All right, everyone, settle in. Have you ever looked at property prices or rental listings and felt your wallet just weep? Especially when you are eyeing a place that sounds as lovely as Southampton. You only hear high costs, maybe even wonder if it is one of those cities that feels out of reach for the average person. But what if I told you there are spots right here tucked away that will not require you to live on instant noodles? It feels almost impossible sometimes, right? But stick with me, because I have been digging through the info, looking at what people are saying, checking out the stats, and finding some genuinely more affordable corners of this vibrant city. Now, calling anywhere in a desirable location cheap is always relative, is it not? Think about it. The average rent for a one-bedroom place in Southampton recently sat around £838 a month, while a three-bedroom was closer to £1,295. But some neighbourhoods consistently offer rents below those averages. So, where can you find these potential havens of affordability? Let us look at 8 spots that are budget-friendly. First up, let us talk about an area that gets a lot of chatter. Sometimes good, sometimes less so. It is Shirley. You might hear mixed things about Shirley. It is a big area, almost like a patchwork quilt, with different parts varying quite a lot. Especially places like Upper Shirley are definitely on the pricier side. There is plenty going on: gigs, theatre, good food, good pubs, and a few bars around if you like a craft ale. There is good sailing close by. It is a decent place to live, within walking distance to the Common, the city centre, and the train station. It is ideally located for commuters, with Shirley railway station offering regular services to Birmingham, Stratford, Up and On, and beyond. The average monthly rent is around £1,200, and the average house price is about £375,000. If you are near Shirley High Street, you are close to amenities and even within walking distance of the actual town centre and the train station. There are also national parks within an easy bike ride of the city. Next, let us head over to the other side of the water, Woolston. It is described as being family-friendly and having a tight-knit community feel. It is a great place to live, with short drives to Sumner, Taylor's Mistake, or Corsair Bay, and it is close to the Tannery and other decent shopping areas. It is near the city, and also close to beaches at Brighton and Sumner, with lots of shops and so on in the Woolston township, including a good New World supermarket. While areas like Bitterne Park might be considered nicer overall, Woolston offers more affordable options, especially if you are looking to buy. Well, a 3-bedroom house there could be around £310,000 or more. The cost of living is generally lower than in major cities like London, but higher than some rural areas. A student should budget around £800 to £1,200 per month. A family of 4 could expect to spend around £1,500 to £2,000 per month on rent alone, with additional costs for utilities, food, and other expenses. Centenary Quay has a small number of semi-detached houses. The apartments themselves look really nice and are in a great location, not far from the city and also close to the Western shore. Woolston is acceptable, and you can walk to town in less than an hour. It has good bus routes and is also close to the river, which is great if you enjoy looking at boats and similar things. Moving back towards the west, we find Millbrook. Now, like Shirley, it is a small town with quite a hippified clientele in general, and it has a couple of decent pubs. It is really close to Ramehead, Maker, and Whitsun Bay, all of which are very nice places. It also consistently features on lists of more budget-friendly neighbourhoods, with average rents around £750 per month. Millbrook is in Cornwall, but not far from Plymouth, via the Kreml Foot Ferry or the Tallpoint Car Ferry. Millbrook gets a mixed reputation. It is often listed as an area to avoid, with issues such as crime or being largely made up of council estates. Just south of Woolston, bordering the water again, lies Weston. Similar to Millbrook and parts of Shirley, Weston is explicitly named as one of the more budget-friendly options in Southampton. It has a beach, plenty of parks, and a lot of older residents, so it is generally quiet as well. It is also a good hub for accessing other nearby places, such as Bristol and Cardiff, but without the expense of living there. It is among the more affordable suburbs, with rent sitting around £750 per month, similar to Millbrook. The cost of living in Weston-super-Mare is generally lower than in other major United Kingdom cities, like London or Bristol. Specifically, house prices are significantly cheaper than in Bristol. On average, semi-detached properties are approximately £209,194, compared to £302,568 in Bristol. The average house price is around £278,515. Housing is not too expensive for the south, and it is not that bad. Like any town, there are nice parts and less nice parts. Milton, Whirl, Hutton and Uphill are all nice areas. Weston Hillside is also a good area. The villages surrounding Weston are nice as well, but it is definitely a different lifestyle. It depends on what you are after, and I do not disagree with the advice to avoid Bourneville. But generally, it is no worse than any other town. It seems that being further from the absolute city centre and potentially having different types of housing stock contributes to its lower cost. If coastal proximity is something you enjoy, even on a windy grey day, Weston might offer a more affordable way to be closer to the water. Compared to premium waterfront developments, heading north-oust of the city centre, we have Bitterne. This area is recommended as a good option, particularly for families. Bitterne is situated at the top of the hill around the shopping precinct and merges into Merrioak to the east and Town Hill Park to the west. Everything is approximately 15 minutes away by car, including the city centre. Bitterne Park is a particularly nice area with Riverside Park. The park is a major draw for people, especially dog owners. But it is simply a lovely place, particularly in the summer. The schools in the area are also performing well, which is a huge plus for families. While it is not as inexpensive as the £750 rent areas like Millbrook or Weston, it is still considered affordable. Rental prices range from around £675 to £1,750 per month. The overall average house price is around £291,989. Semi-detached properties are the most common, averaging £322,593, while detached houses average £358,310, and flats average £152,872. The main drawback is traffic congestion on the bridges during rush hour. So, if you are commuting during peak times, that is something to factor into your decision. But for a balance of community, schools, green space, and relative affordability, Bitterne is a strong contender. Crossing the bridge from Bitterne Park, often literally over Cobden Bridge, brings us to St. Denis. It is generally a very safe, community-oriented place to live. This area is more affordable than Bitterne Park itself. It is characterized by a greater number of terraced houses, which tend to be more budget-friendly property types. House prices in St. Denis have an overall average of £210,743. However, I would not personally live on the west side. It feels too far from everywhere I usually go. It is also within walking distance of the city centre and has its own train station, which is a big bonus for getting around, especially when city traffic is, let us be honest, notoriously bad. Be mindful of floodplain levels in some parts near the water, though. But overall, St. Denis offers a potentially quieter, more affordable option with solid transport links. Another area suggested for its walkability to the city centre or proximity to a station is Inner Avenue. This area is often described as having cheap but cute cottages. While it is a leafy area that offers a good balance of green spaces and amenities, it is also located along a busy one-way road. Parking might be an issue, but the advantage is that you do not necessarily need a car if you live close to the centre. Walking, cycling, or taking the bus can often be quicker and more convenient. The price to rent a home on Inner Avenue varies greatly, depending on the property type and location. For example, Rightmove lists a 6-bedroom house in the area for £2,450 per month, while Zoopla shows a 5-bedroom house for £1,777 per month. There are also other options, such as single rooms for rent within larger houses, ranging from £700 to £875 per month. The trade-off for those cute, more affordable properties might be less parking convenience. Still, it seems like a solid choice if you prioritize being close to the action and amenities, even if that means sacrificing a bit of parking ease. Totton, especially West Totton, is considered a good area for families. West Totton is specifically described as nice, and another Totton resident confirms it is a great place to live. There are no particularly good or bad parts of Totton overall, just the occasional dodgy street next to a nicer one. The overall average house price in Totton is around £323,523. Detached properties are the most expensive, averaging around £419,977, while terraced houses are the most affordable, averaging around £280,593. Rent prices vary depending on the type of property. Smaller flats can start at around £800 per month, while houses can cost over £1,500 per month. 2-bedroom semi-detached houses might cost around £1,400 per month. 3-bedroom houses range from £1,500 to over £2,500 per month. The Calmore area now attracts younger families, and the Testwood area is also seen as quite nice. Totton is well positioned between the city and the New Forest, offering a balance of convenience and green space. One source suggests that Shirley is far more in your price range than Upper Shirley, which implies that Totton may fall into a similar affordability bracket, although direct price comparisons are not specified. So, there you have it. Do not be put off by the general headlines. Dig a little deeper, do your homework, and maybe even brave a rainy day visit. You might just discover an affordable corner of the city that suits your lifestyle and your budget.